I wrote down all my books on a napkin because I am ill prepared. This was an impromptu idea, this video. So excuse my notes on this A&W napkin. Anyway, okay, so I started making this video a couple times now. And now I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna do it in one chunk and edit it later. I tried to do a video where I did my makeup, like a get ready with me type of thing. Huge mistake. It did not go well. Whatever. So the point of this video today is that it is halfway through the year already. July 2nd is technically halfway through the year, which means that if you have made any kind of goal for reading, today marks the halfway point. I pledged to read 50 books. That's a lofty goal considering that this is the first year that I'm actually back to reading, like really back to reading, since I had even Alina, which was 3 years ago. So that 50 may have been a little bit much, but here we are. You know, it's just a number. We'll see how far we get. I, so far, have read 14 books. It's not bad, right? Like, that's pretty good. So what I wanted to do today is tell you about all 14 books that I've read. So I was going to do it at home, but there's so many distractions. Right now I'm in the car at Chapters, ready to go in to get more books to read. And Riker is sitting in the back sleeping. So I figured right now is the best time to record the video, especially since I can't find any of my books anyway. The kids like to pick them up and walk around with them. That's fine. I don't mind. Right now, I don't know where half my books are. I can't wait to get into the new house and have the library. Anyway, this isn't a review video by any means, but I just wanted to let you know how I was doing on my reading journey. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so the first book that I read of the year was Sunkissed by Cassie West. Sunkissed by Cassie West was absolutely amazing. Wonderful start to the book reading year. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Such a great book. Wonderful for book slumps, book reading slumps. If you just need something easy and light and fun, Cassie West is your girl. And I love all of her books. She is who I go to when I'm in a slump. It turns my mood right around. 5 out of 5 stars. So the next book that I read was The Comfort Book by Matt Haig. I didn't think that I would like this book as much as I did. Like, I kind of knew that I was going to like it, but I absolutely loved it. And I am still recommending this book to anyone who will give me any time, any kind of attention when it comes to books. I don't really have that many reading friends. They're all online. But I've been telling absolutely everyone. It is technically in the self-help section of the bookstore, which isn't normally my area. You guys all know that I'm more of a teen and under kind of girl. So this was a bit different for me, but it was wonderful. So it's a collection of lists and thoughts and poems. I guess Matt Haig wrote it to remind himself that it gets better. It's like a little bit of comfort that he wrote down to remind himself that it gets better. It's not always hard. I read at least one page before I did anything in the morning. I grabbed my I had my coffee. I grabbed my coffee, grabbed my book, read a page, and then I started my day. And I could not have chosen a better way to start my day. So good. 5 out of 5 stars. Loved it. So the third book that I read was This Poison Heart. I have a new favorite author. I love her, love, love, love. It was Greek mythology, but it was different. It was different than Percy Jackson or Loki's Wolves or any other kind of Greek mythology that I've ever read before. I adored it. I thought it was wonderful. 5 out of 5 stars. I would give it more. I can't wait for number 2 to come out. So thrilled. The next book that I read was One of Us is Lying by Karen McManus, I believe. One of Us is Lying. So there was so much hype about this book for the longest time. I wanted to really, really love it. I liked it. I thought it was good. I only gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I think I heard so many great things about this book that I expected more. And I mean, it was a good book. It was wonderful. But it's a 4 out of 5 for me. I also saw the series after I read the book, and I really enjoyed that too. I really liked it. I did. Not my favorite, but I enjoyed it. So the next one is Tillie and the Book Wanderers. I can't even believe that it took me so long to read this book. It has been recommended to me over and over and over again. Not to mention, I've been recommending it to me over and over and over again. Like, come on. This is exactly the type of book that I read. So, I finally got to it. Absolutely loved it. Wonderful book. 5 out of 5. That one is by Anna James. It was even better than I thought it was going to be. I knew that it was going to be good, but it was more complex than I expected. And I can't wait to see what they get up to next. I really can't. It's going to be good. I mean, the book's already out, so I should get to it, but I really want to finish a couple other books before I get to it. Anyway, 5 out of 5. The next book is A Lesson in Vengeance by Victoria Lee. I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars. I don't know why I feel so horrible. It's literally just my opinion. It's not even like it was a bad book. The ending especially, I thought, was great. I don't even want to say unexpected because I sort of almost saw it coming. But it was different and not your typical ending of a book. Like, I don't want to give too much away. It was good. It's witchcraft and a boarding school for girls. So, I thought it was great. I really did. But I only gave it 3 to 5 stars. Maybe it's just because all of the other reads that I had this year were top-notch and wonderful. Like, I can't believe how many good books I read this year so far. I went through my list and I was like, we're doing good. Like, I usually enjoy any book and every book, but this is something else. Anyway, let's keep going. Let's keep going, shall we? So the next one is The Boy at the End of the Class. At the Back of the Class? The Boy at the Back of the Class? The Boy at the Back of the Class. I wrote it down wrong. This is a name that I'm going to butcher. I'm so incredibly sorry. Anjali Roth. I'm sorry. It was a great book. I did this as an audiobook, and I ended up crying in my car because I finished it off on a trip. And it was such a good book. It really opened your eyes a little bit anyway. I think it would be a great book to assign to children who have questions about refugees. Anyway, this isn't a review video, so I gave that book 5 out of 5 stars. It really gave me the feels. Like I said, ended up crying in my car. And I would recommend it to tons of kids. Love it. Middle grade book. Beautiful. The next book on the list is Once Upon a Crime by Robin Stevens. Now, this one was different. It's another audiobook. I just picked it out of a list of books. I didn't realize that it wasn't the first book in the series, but it didn't matter because it is a compilation of short stories. It's, I can't even tell you when it was set. It's got like Sherlock Holmes vibes to it, like that time frame. And it's two young girls who end up solving all of these mysteries. And it's good. It was funny. It wasn't super easy to figure out the mystery. Like they were really well written. I really liked them. I would read more. If anyone was reading the Enola Holmes books, this would be a great book to read if you really enjoyed those. I gave it, what did I give it? 4 to 5 stars. Not bad. I think I was just kind of thrown off because it wasn't what I expected it to be. Honestly, I didn't even know it was short stories. Someone's pulling in to the parking lot right in front of me. It's kind of awkward. I'm not great at this video thing. I'm just going to pretend I'm on the phone. So, the next book that I read was Gilded by Marissa Mayer. I loved this book. This was a honkin' huge book. I don't know if I wish I could show it to you. Like, I know where this book is, but obviously I'm not at home. It's a huge book. It's big. And I was so excited because I am a huge fan of Marissa Mayer. I love her with all of my heart. She writes amazing stories. And this was no exception. It was wonderful. It was great. It even got to the point where at the very end of the video, I actually gasped. So I actually gasped because I was like, no, it's not the end. No, they have the second book. It's coming out soon. I can't quite remember when. I gave that one 5 out of 5 stars. It's based off of the Rumpelstiltskin fairy tale. So if you're into any of those fairy tale retellings or just an awesome tall tale book, it's a story about stories, and I love those. Anyway, 5 out of 5. Can't wait for the next book. Definitely gonna read that one. I hope it's just as big. So the next book I read was Iron Widow. I picked up that book. I probably wouldn't have picked it up by myself, but I picked it up because it was Indigo's TikTok book of the month. And I really actually enjoyed it. Once again, it wasn't my specific cup of tea. It was my cup of tea. I gave it a 4 to 5. It was a good book. It was a really good book. It had some excellent talking points. Amazing about culture, about equality, about anyway, it's not a review video. Lindsay, come on. It was great. Kind of more sci-fi-y than I would have wanted. Fantasy sci-fi, but really heavier on the sci-fi than I'm typically used to. Beautiful book, beautiful story. I'm right along on the trip. I'm right along on the trip for book number 2. What? I don't know. Anyway, the next book I read was The Novice. This is another one of those books where, why did it take me so long to read? It was really, really well done. My friend has been recommending this book to me forever. He recommends it all the time, and with good reason, because it is an amazing book. I don't know why, but it kind of reminds me of The Witcher, except without all the rated R stuff. You know what I mean? 5 stars I gave it. I did read part of number 2, but something else came up. I think it was you know what it was? The TikTok book of the month. So I switched it out for Iron Widow. But anyway, yeah, so I gave The Novice 5 out of 5. It was great. So the next book that I read, guys, I'm so excited. So excited. Next book that I read was Heartstopper, Volume 1. And it was so good. I said on the last video that I did that I really hope that it is as good as everyone says, because people are saying that it's like a warm hug. It is. It gives you the feels. I'm going to do an actual review on that book. I'm hoping to do. It's hard to do reviews right now just because of, well, I wish I had a better setup for space. Anyway, I loved it. It brought me back to school, which I actually loved. I loved school. And it brought you right back to junior high school, where, you know, you got those lovey-dovey feels for the first boyfriend, and it was a really good book. I went right on to Netflix and binge watched that season 1 of Heartstopper on Netflix, and it was amazing, so good. I'll get into that in a different video as well, but I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and I've ordered my book number 2, and I'm waiting very patiently for it to come in. I know it's going to take a bit longer because everybody loves this book, so it's a little bit hard to get your hands on, but I'm trying. It's coming. I'm going to get it. Yeah, so 5 out of 5 stars. Highly recommend. Loved it. The next book that I read was not a novel. Whiskey in a Teacup by Reese Witherspoon, which is a more of like a lifestyle book. But I absolutely adore Reese Witherspoon. I love her. She's just such a classy lady, and she supports other women and stands up for what she believes in, and she's so accomplished, and I love her to death. So I read her book, and I loved it just as much as I love her. It was great. It was wonderful. Lots of cool tips in there. Lots of, I made my own sweet tea and my own simple syrup. And I think I'm going to continue to do so because it was delicious. And I probably wouldn't have ever done it that way if it weren't for Reese Witherspoon. So thanks, Reese. Yeah, so I gave Reese Witherspoon's book, Whiskey in a Teacup, 5 out of 5 stars. Loved it. So I only have one book left to tell you guys about, and that is Book Lovers. I read the famous Book Lovers book by Emily Henry that's been all over TikTok. I really did love it. I only gave it 4 to 5 stars. It is what you would expect. Like, it does have some twists. Like, she's not, it's a romance book, but it's not your typical romance book because she's not the typical main protagonist. Like, a lot of the storyline was pretty expected. I saw it coming from a mile away. That didn't take anything away from it, really. It gave you all the feels, and it was so sweet and kind of steamy at points, and it's an adult book. It's one of the only adult books that I've read this year. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad that I read it. But I only gave it 4 to 5 stars. I think I'm going to go into chapters and get more books. Thanks for watching this video. Like it. Could you please like it? And maybe subscribe. I don't know, if you want to hear me ramble some more. I don't know. So like and subscribe. And hopefully I'll be back soon with another video. Maybe an unboxing. Who knows? God, why am I like this? If you're not having fun, you're not reading the right books. Let me help you choose the right ones.